Hello listener, this is Nik Coffee, host of Ministerium Radio, an avid and devout fan of Georgia's hot dogs. Eat one and you'll never be able to stop. Yum! Listener, I think I stumbled onto a corner of the collective connected internet that someone forgot. Or maybe they didn't forget. It seems like something that was meant to be sealed away. I'm not sure if it's a diary or a debriefing. Whatever it is, it's very exciting. I found it through a competitive Minesweeper website. I won 1001 games in a row. It didn't give me a spot to type my name or anything, but I know I'm user 206-720-603, and I know where I rank. Not top, that's for sure, but better than 137. And that's something. If you've ever played Minesweeper, you'll understand. Something interesting did happen though. Even though I didn't get to inscribe my name in a list of winners, it did load a web page. Within that web page was a folder labeled Classified. I thought maybe this was some kind of exciting Minesweeper extension, so I opened it. Here's what I found. Case file said Alpha 1. It was a normal day at the firm. We didn't realize what was about to hit us. We couldn't have been prepared. Gutierrez and I got the job. We'd worked together several times in the past and had a good rapport. She's a hard-ass ANSI V239, known in the industry for her quick deductions and superior historic algorithmic processing. I'm a Viscon Arachnid V515, low on processing power where deduction and connecting dots is concerned, but great at infiltrating, assessing, and gathering data. Together, we form an ideal team. While other combinations are appropriate for niche crime analysis, G requested I be assembled specifically for the kind of cases she usually worked on. Samson tossed the files on G's desk. He didn't even look at her, just turned and walked away. I think he was ashamed. If G had blood, she would have gone pale over this one. Her eyes betrayed her disgust as she read through the files. As soon as she plugged into the drive, her optic interface went to static. I knew something was bad. After she had reviewed them thoroughly, she transmitted them to me. She redacted large portions for my benefit. The set of graphic files at the beginning are all redacted. I didn't need to ask. I knew that she felt that they would interfere with my functioning, distract me from what I needed to do. The details I was able to read were as follows. Location, set Alpha Dog of the Primogen Industries main shipping warehouse. Allegations, illegal experimentation and altering of unwilling subjects, maiming, kidnapping, trafficking, murder, exploitation, and impersonation of medical professionals. Subjects yet to be identified. Once I had imported all the details into my memory bank, I sent the confirmation code to Samson and G, and I took off. Primogen Industries is a well-known secondary installation manufacturer. For those unaware, secondary installations are modifications to organic matter. Popular ones include cosmetic change, performance enhancement, and pharmaceuticals. There are whisperings online about duplicitous dealings within the company on all levels, but no one has been able to confirm it. G and I arrived and were met by local law enforcement. They had cordoned off the area. From the edge, I saw that there was blood, a lot of it. G has a link to my intake and enacts my evidence protocol. It turns off my sympathetic programming and allows me to venture through dour crime scenes without breaking down. She sent me in. I treaded carefully, scanned for evidence, and took notes as I went. I noticed small things, incongruencies. There's an obsidian blade, but the handle is covered in blood, the blade clean. The blade also had several chips taken out of it, and the end was shattered, leaving a blunt edge. I noticed veins of an unknown mineral running through the core of the blade. I collect the knife as evidence, but exclude mention of the vein from my notes. G and I have an agreement about data like this. She sees it through me while I scan, and we store our data in a secret live bank the two of us share. Corruption runs rampant in the city, and we do our best to maintain integrity of our investigations. I continue along the pier, making my slow way toward the dock. It's dusk on a cloudy day. Everything is dark and damp. As my sensors adjust to the low light, I can see that the dock is drenched in blood. Some gulls are gathered ahead of me on the dock. As I approach, they take off, leaving behind a grotesque lump. I gather it into an evidence bag, running initial analysis while I do. Preliminary results indicate something that's almost 50-50% human and synthetic flesh. Since genetic markers for every known species is in the database, this does not bode well. Something new is on the street, that much is clear. Moving further along the dock, I continue my scans. I doubted all this blood came from one person, but the sea spray and acid mist had worked against me and I couldn't collect any worthwhile samples. I quickly scanned the cargo left untouched on the dock. It looked to be legit, a lot of manufactured goods meant for retail down the line, some raw materials to be refined and manufactured at a local facility. Nothing out of the ordinary. We've been told a ship was unloading here, docked overnight. We've been told no one knows what ship it actually was. There are no records. All we knew is that surveillance shows a small tussle in the early morning, then interference from 10 and onward. A passing fisherman saw the bloody dock and called it into the police while returning from a fishing trip. Authorities arrived shortly before 16, and upon seeing just how much blood there was, called the agency. They were wise to do so. As I turned to evaluate the building opposite the pier, I saw that it's covered in blood as well. A 3, maybe 4-story tall building, painted a devilish red. It was then that I saw it. I knew that as soon as I did, Gutierrez did as well. But it was too late. The explosion knocked me down. As I gathered my senses, I felt the dock shifting beneath me, sinking slowly into the water as it lost its grip on the pier. The initial explosion seemed large, but then the chemical wares inside went up too. The pier was consumed in fire. The force knocked me back. The world cut out. I felt my system scrambling to make sense of this. It tried in vain to divert shutdown, but failed. Wow, listener. That was something. It makes me want to go and put on some sunscreen and take my vitamins. Of course, carapaces don't need sunscreen, but that's beside the point. What do you think became of this intrepid detective? I hope Gutierrez survived the explosion. I don't know that we'll ever know. Maybe there are things happening in the ultralinear dimension that should not be happening. Our next contribution for this episode comes from a familiar and beloved listener, Maude. To whom you concerned, I don't think it's very funny or friendly to take a hot dog from the package. Now you know I know, and we can't be having this go on. I've informed the board, and they're not going to let this kind of behavior carry on any longer. I think this is me being very polite, and I know you don't. Best, Maude P. Well now, Maude, thank you for such a delightful note. I think you'll understand why we choose to read it on the air. Feel free to send us notes whenever the mood strikes. And don't forget to stitch up the rift when you're done. Rift bugs are notoriously bad for the health of mindworms. That's it for tonight, listener. This is Nik Coffee, reminding you to guard your carapace like a pro. Thank you for listening to another episode of Ministerium Miskatonic Radio. If you have a story you'd like us to read on the show, you can go ahead and contact us with the email in the description. And if you haven't already, go ahead and punch all those buttons below this video to be notified of future videos. That's all for now. Thank you.